Good evening. The time is 5:30. The work session for the Town of Luray Council is now in session. Please join me for a moment of silence. Join me for the pledge, please. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Danielle, would you please call the roll?
Yes, Mayor Willard?
Yes.
Mr. Vickers? Here. Mr. Dolphemeyer? Here. Mr. White? Mr. Pettit?
Here.
Mr. Sowers?
Here.
Mr. Butler?
Thank you. All right. First things we have is the updates and discussion items. Item A, proclamation of appreciation for Miss Debbie Nealis. I have a proclamation I'm prepared to read. Whereas Deborah Nealis has served for the town of Luray from February 17th, 1998 until August 29th, 2025, and whereas the town of Luray is proud to recognize individuals whose dedication, hard work, and commitment has significantly contributed to the efficient and compassionate delivery of public service, and whereas Deborah L. Nealis has served for the town of Luray with unwavering professionalism and excellence as a customer service clerk for 27 years, and whereas she has announced her retirement from the town of Luray effective September 1st, 2025, and whereas throughout this time she has demonstrated exceptional customer service, a deep knowledge of town operations, and a steadfast commitment to meeting the needs of residents and visitors alike. And whereas her professional demeanor, attention to detail, and genuine care for community have made lasting impacts on her colleagues, citizens, and the town's overall mission. And whereas the town of Luray wishes to honor and express sincere gratitude for Deborah L. Nealis' loyalty and exemplary service, which has strengthened the relationship between the town and its residents. Whereas after 27 years of distinguished service, Deborah L. Nealis is now retiring, leaving behind a remarkable legacy of dependability, integrity, and dedication. Now therefore be it proclaimed that the mayor and the town council of Luray, on behalf of the citizens, hereby extends a heartfelt appreciation and recognition to Ms. Deborah Nealis for 27 years of outstanding service as a customer service clerk, and we'd like to further express our best wishes for joyful, healthy, and well-deserved retirement filled with happiness, new adventures, and the same grace that has defined her career. Thank you.
Mayor, I move this proclamation be approved.
I'll second that.
Thank you.
All right, Mr. Vickers?
Yes.
Mr. Dolphemeyer?
Yes.
Mr. White? He's not here. Mr. Pettit?
Yes.
Mr. Sowers?
Yes.
Mr. Butler?
Would you join me? A little photo op.
Anybody? We do both. 1, 2, 3.
Council, any other comments? Thank you.
Thank you, Deb. Thank you.
Yes, I know a lot of years of walking through that front door and seeing your face there. And long before I was ever on council, you answered many, many questions. And just a pleasure.
It's been a pleasure.
Thank you.
It's a privilege, to be employed here for 27 years. So I've enjoyed it.
It's very admirable. We appreciate your service. Okay, moving right along, we have town water and sewer capacity evaluation. Mr. Tyler Austin, would you like to join us at the podium?
Good evening. Thank you guys for your time. In your packets. Excuse me, I failed. He had one job to do. I was busy on the phone.
User error.
that better?
Very good.
All right, thank you guys. In your packets, you have an executive summary of our water and sewer capacity study. As you all know, at your direction, we collectively, town and Racy, have been pursuing evaluation studies, improvements of various aspects of the town's water and sewer infrastructure, and sanitary sewer specifically. So in this report, basically what we have done is we've taken the remaining undeveloped areas of the town, inside town limits, which basically are 18 different plots is what we're calling them, 18 locations that are on the map, that have the potential as currently zoned, whether it be commercial, industrial, or residential. And what we did is we extrapolated out, Gary's executive summary has an error at 300 gallons per day per unit on residential. It's actually 400. And the reason we did that, Virginia Health Department regulations is 150 gallons per day per bedroom. So a normal 3-bedroom house is 450. So the 300 doesn't quite get us there. So that 400 is an average between all types of units, whether it be townhouses, apartments, single family. And what we did, the intent of this capacity is basically for everything that was left without rezonings or any other, basically as zoned as is, what is our capacity at both water and sewer? And in the chart on that first table of the executive summary is basically we have permitted capacity for water of 1.516 million gallons per day, and extrapolating out this model for what's left, we are short 112,000 gallons per day. And in succession, the sewer, that sanitary sewer, is at 1.6 million gallons per day is our permitted capacity at the wastewater plant for discharge. And we are currently, if we build out completely, we are roughly 350,000 gallons a day over that. As Brian has alluded to in the summary from the staff notes, the water plant is pretty easily, with some filters and even another skid, we can easily get our upgrade capacity to 3 million gallons a day. Now that is supply. On the distribution side, we are currently designing a ground mount tank for storage and booster pumps at the west end and Luray Landing to support that, and also modeling and looking at what we're gonna have to do to what we're calling the West Main water tank. Basically, capacity of all of the flows here are fine. It's when you get into fire flow, and if Walmart basically had to use the fire flow, it's refilling those tanks is what takes time. So it's a model of what do we put here to support, to make sure that we have water everywhere through town. So there's several options we're looking at with Brian on that to present to you guys, but we're moving that way. Water's pretty much taken care of. In terms of sanitary sewer, obviously as a group, y'all put money toward I&I improvements. We've lined up basically in process, right, of lining all pipes within the creek. Is that correct, Brian? We've already done phase 1, phase 2 scheduled.
Phase 2's getting scheduled. We just got the estimate earlier, actually, middle part of last week, so we'll be getting on those scheduled.
And we have manhole, a lining company lining manholes as we speak throughout town. We're doing the evaluation out at West Lou behind Walmart. There's also I&I out there that's a significant contributor to our total I&I. So as a group, we're knocking the I&I down, which obviously will open that capacity up. And what is facilitated from here is, and what I wanted to update you guys on, is we're also preparing a preliminary engineering report proposal to come before you very soon. We've teamed up with a partner, another engineering firm that we redid Strasburg's wastewater treatment plant several years ago, and we're going to look at a PER on what improvements, what efficiencies we can make with the existing equipment to new equipment, and with the limited footprint we have, what we can expand and what capacity we can gain currently at the wastewater treatment plant. So with those together, we can hopefully have a solution to solve this problem. And just so you guys know, as a council, when that DEQ permit, that permitted 1.6 million gallons, when that becomes 85%, right?
85%.
We have to have a plan in place to how we're going to address that. So all we're doing is the right things. We're getting that number down on I&I. We're gonna see what I say easy, but what more simple options we have to upgrade our plant to what capacities we can get, and then we'll go from there. But in terms of what this capacity study presented and what we were looking for is exactly what we thought. So with what we have, phase 2 of this report is after we leave here, we're going to detail out more of these areas on what they are, each of these 18 areas we're talking about that are undeveloped. And basically, we'd like to have a listing of what improvements we have to have for water, sewer, and stormwater in case a developer would come in, so that we have a plan for that. And 2, so that the town has an option of, all right, this is the next area of need. It won't be in depth as much as we need an 18-inch water line to this location, but it's more, we know there's areas that have to be improved if that development occurs. So that,
How did your study for the new development out near Walmart, whatever it's called, at the present development?
yeah.
I know I guess we're within 18% of max capacity on the sewer. When the rest of the homes out there go live, did you all take those?
That's already accounted for, and even
At what
actually.
level? So there's some that's kind of in between, right? So how did you all do that? Some
So-
homes that are in between?
So in the P and D, we have a max density, so we went for max density at max peak flow, and then you put a factor on top of that basically, and with the water flow out there for fire flow, that, it all was included, and actually, we actually included all of Shenandoah, right, as well. So those lots that are platted that are technically in town, all of that has been included in those models, and it's been, even since the early days of that Luray Landing design, they've always been included for full build out, so we're good there.
And while we're on that topic, so.
Yes, sir.
In looking at all this, are you also including or looking at undeveloped lots, not necessarily large portions of development like some of this, but what about like within town where there's, 2-3 building lots over here, and is that part of your formula too, or just concentrated
That's
on
not,
those
it's concentrated on those large.
potential large development?
Right,
areas?
because the intent is the large ones that have a big impact on large-scale infrastructure necessary to make it work.
Right.
Most of these in-town lots and stuff, we have capacity now to handle those,
Right.
Those small
Okay.
amounts, we can handle that. And again, especially with water, distribution is not the issue, it's more taking into account fire flow, and the sewer is the main issue, right? So,
So if you look at the totals there, basically, on our water plant permit, if we were to take that to 1.75 million, in terms of changing our permit, we have to have 15% on top of that, to get out of the DEQ plan required component. So it's not just what we need in terms of gallons, it's what we need plus the grace period that we have above that. So, for example, sewer's gonna be close to 2 million, when we gotta be at 2.4 for that 2 million to be 85% at full build out. So,
And you don't wanna do that either, cause then you're right back where.
yeah, so, now, looking at this, that's 780,000 gallons. So, that's a fair amount of development in Luray. That might be a 40-year, number, or a 50-year number. But if we don't start planning now, we're never gonna be there ready when we get to that point. We can't wait till we get to this point. So, buying back capacity through I&I, prohibitions, and then finding ways to build capacity. We do have some physical space at the wastewater plant that we're gonna take a look at. There may be technologies out there, well, there are technologies out there that we could potentially upgrade our plant to maximize the number of gallons, but it's still all volume, and you've gotta be able to handle that volume. So you gotta have tanks, pumps to handle that volume, regardless of what the treatment works are. So, even if we go with a different type of technology versus, like say a denitrification type units versus open oxidation ditches, we still gotta be able to handle capacity in terms of gallons per day. So, those are all things that we need to look at. We want to start looking at them now. We will have, you had a good question, Jason, the infill lots, what I call the infill lots, are scattered all over town.
Right.
They will cumulatively add up, to a total that is probably gonna be greater than these numbers right here.
and I think we have that number as well. We have what's left.
Yeah.
We've already had that one other time, so.
Oh, okay.
Might not
We
quote
wanna
me out.
build that.
I will make sure we build that in, but I know for a fact that I've heard Gary speak of the remaining lots, like we know what we have. So I'll check that as well, make sure that's included.
Yeah.
So Tyler, we've been struggling with this for several years about providing water and sewer services outside town limits. This pretty much shows that that's next to impossible.
Unless there's significant proffers offered by that developer. And it has to be the right fit. You know what I mean? I've been a part of this in many other localities where there are the same issues, but if they're able to come to the table with significant proffers that help do portions of this work where we can appropriate funds in different locations to help, you know, offset that, whether it be a pump station here or, you know, if they're gonna run a line to this place. There's ways about doing it, but at least we have this, and the intent of this capacity study is to say, here's where our issues are, here's the pinch points. So, but again, I understand where you guys said it's very hard to make town people pay for something that we have a lot of work to do internally to make this happen, right?
And piggybacking on what Jerry just said, that I'll feel a lot better once we hear some more details as the study at the plant takes place on what space we even have there. Because there's the other thing, when we're talking about proffers or something, some developer may throw a huge chunk of money at it, but our location and the
But in the day-
limitations we have with the space we have, that
Without expansion
It wouldn't
opportunities there,
matter, yeah.
at some point, we are limited there. There is no question. We're not gonna gain even 500,000 gallons a day, I don't believe, in what we can do. I might be wrong, but that's just, I'm pessimistic in that, cause there is
okay,
not a
yeah,
lot
the
of
space
room.
is not there to expand.
Right. And it, like Brian was saying, no matter how much we take, all the wastewater treatment is time and the process. So you have to be able to hold it to let it do its job to treat it
Right.
before you let it go. So we can take as much as we want, but the time still has to be there to allow that process to happen, and that requires space.
But just water itself, we could do that, but
Water, we're in good shape.
what do developers want most, water or sewer, or can you answer that?
Yes.
Yes.
Both.
Thank you, Tyler.
Yeah, both.
Development costs are expensive.
I mean, do they want the sewer more than the water, or I mean,
It's hard to have
is-
one without the other, and
well, we're doing that to
Well, and
a
it's
lot of
lots,
places, aren't we?
it's lot size too,
We do.
because when
Right.
we could supply the water if they did septic
Very much
systems,
so.
but the problem is they're losing building lots.
So think about, just take blue water development at Outlanders, where we did the new campground. That is the absolute best soil you will ever find on earth to put a drain field near in that river bottom, right? So that was an acre and a half of drain field to manage that. So you're talking, even if it's a 30-lot subdivision that we put aside, that's a significant amount of drain field to make that happen, no matter what. And a discharge permit, we got both of those. We got a discharge permit for that facility and a drain field, and that discharge process it's tiresome, but it's doable. I mean, but we'll have to look at that as
Hey,
well.
Tom, did your studies tell us, what's the first thing we need to be working at, you know?
You're doing the right things.
But the most
I&I
critical project that's coming up.
The I&I is where we need to be.
What we're doing. Okay.
Because that's the least amount of money in terms of a wastewater plant upgrade, right?
Right.
But if we're doing the PR, and that's why we're presenting that to you guys, that's the next step, is to find out what can we do, and then attach some costs to that. So now we have budgets and we can see. But fixing I&I generally is much more cost effective to solving, because we know we probably have 300, 400,000 gallons a day we're trying to narrow down. Whereas we're gonna spend millions on a wastewater plant upgrade. In no simple, I mean, it's gonna be that, no doubt. So,
What should that ratio be of water to sewer capacity? Because, I mean, right now, it looks like our permitted is within like 5% and change. I mean, is that what we should be getting in addition to what comes out of the spigot?
I mean, Brian, do you have anything from a
Typ-
long term on that?
Typically, you know, like say if we were producing 100,000 gallons of water, the ideal situation, if we had a leak-proof sewer collection network,
100,000
doesn't
gallons.
exist, you would expect to get about 85 to 90,000 gallons at your wastewater plant. Because some of that water is gonna water your garden, your plants, or it's evapotranspiration, or it's gonna wash your car, or whatever. Normally, we're upside down. Normally, we're putting out 100,000 gallons of water, and we're receiving 120,000 gallons of water at the wastewater plant. So not where you wanna be. If you can find that extra 20,000 gallons or 40,000 gallons and seal it up, that's the biggest bang for your buck, because you buy that capacity back.
But you also have water leaks as well, so you're losing water on that, your inefficiencies there too.
See, and with our water permit, it's not just about what we change the plant permit to through we have a withdrawal permit as well that allows us to withdraw certain amounts of water out of the ground. So that's a separate step that we have. So just because we can treat it doesn't mean the state's gonna let us have it. We have to get a withdrawal permit to match the processing permit. So, it's a couple of different moving parts in there that we have to make sure that we do well on. We started with the low hanging fruit with I&I because that, like Tyler said, for a bang for our buck, that's where we get the biggest benefit per dollar invested. When you start talking 20, 40, 50 million, you know, to redo wastewater treatment plants or build a whole new one, that's a huge investment. That's an investment that would last, you know, that's a 120-year investment for the town. So that's not a decision obviously made lightly. So we'd like to see this PER will help us show what we can potentially do, you know, where we are right now at our physical location. And then if we can expand upon that, I think that's gonna be our #1 recommendation, even if we couldn't do it all on time, if we can build it in stages, to get extra clarifier capacity or extra ditch capacity or whatever we gotta have. You know, when you start having to pump effluent more than once, it gets really expensive. Your electrical bills, your wear and tear on your pumps, everything gets hugely expensive. So we try not to do that any more times than we have to. We have to pump it now in the ditches, then we have to get it into the clarifiers, then we have to get it out of the clarifiers into the UV and out to the discharge point. So we're already pumping it a couple times. Some of that's gravity, but pumping it uphill to a different piece of land, it's possible, but it's expensive and it's gonna cost us long-term maintenance. So we'll just look at, you know, those options. The next step will be, like Tyler said, to further refine this. You know, if we have a plan in place that shows our deficiencies, we are able to work with developers.
That's what I was gonna kind of piggyback from your original question, Jerry, is I think having this in place,
Yep.
it's not a absolute no. It's, in this area, we certainly can do that. You know, if they provide the right proffers, I think we can make certain things happen, and you have the tools to be able to do that. So, yeah, I don't, as a need in this county for housing, and I know it shouldn't all be on the town's back, but if we have this stuff in place, you guys can make informed decisions, and we have a plan of attack long-term for what we have here, so we can make that work.
I agree.
Well, this is good information, Tyler. Thank you, and
You're
thank you,
welcome.
Brian, staff. So for the second phase for the study with the plant, as far as timeline,
In the next 6 weeks or so, we're trying to button this thing up. We've got all the information. It's kind of just making a nicer report for you guys to have, so.
And the PER proposal,
The PER, hopefully next month, I'm trying to come back, or at least submit that to you guys for review.
so maybe work session in October or at
Yeah.
the latest, regular meeting in November, we'll try to have the PER and give you an idea of what that would cost to actually pay to have that study done. That's the first step in any advancement toward, you know, construction plans to where you can get enough of a construction estimate to have an idea of the figure.
And that would be universal among funding sources. That PER is kind of a standard. We've all went through it with USDA before, but other funding options as well, if that's something that the town wants to look forward to. That PER kind of is the first step in all that. You gotta have it to start, so it's kind of general, universal. So, thank you very much.
very good. Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Okay, next we have site plan exhibit 15 Campbell Street, Mr. Chrisman.
Thank you, Mayor. Brad Herman's here tonight to answer any questions that you may have. And so what's included in your packet is the latest rendition. So there's an existing, the first page is an existing features layout, and then the second page is the proposed layout. That's the most recent by Mr. Herman. You know, in your packet, which would normally be on an electronic screen, which we don't have with us tonight, sadly. I tried to highlight a version that would kind of show you what we're talking about here. So on this highlighted version, the blue outline at the bottom right corner of your page would be the new location of the public travelway through 15 Campbell's private property. And that would be public access just like it is right now. The yellow component is the remnants of back so long ago that we can't hardly track down the deed. So, it's shown as an alley on the earliest survey we've been able to find. So that's where that is now. Currently, the water, stormwater, components, are mostly in that yellow area as they travel, in South Alley. South Alley then gets a little larger when it touches the green, outline of the Virginia Avenue right-of-way. Okay, so there's some conversation about whether the green stops where I show it, or whether it extends all the way down, including the pink area, okay? But either way, it's public right-of-way, it's either a public street or a public alley. The orange area is what we're saying that the extended piece of South Alley, is currently. The very distal end of that, where it touches South Broad Street, has already been given away to an adjacent property owner. So that alley doesn't go all the way through to Broad Street, so it's not a through, alleyway. One end has the railroad tracks on it, the southeast end is bounded by the railroad tracks. The northwest end, runs into private property before it reaches South Broad Street, which is off the upper left corner of your page there. So the basic concept, that's here, and then of course the purple outline, is the property owned by 15 Campbell Street. So the concept of the new site plan is to shift the public right-of-way, to the south, where it's currently shown in blue from where it is now, and then to construct parking spaces all along the southwest side of that median, including 6 spaces that are highlighted in pink that don't exist right now, and that would exist in the public right-of-way, not on private property. So currently, we do not have a perpetual easement for public right-of-way through the travelway, the light blue travelway. Okay? So one of the things that, Hub Development is considering is, if the town would like that, which I think that we would like that, to continue to allow public traffic to go through that area, we would simply move that down and show that on a survey plat with a deed of easement. And in exchange for that, the yellow part of South Alley would be able to be utilized for public parking. Currently, it's flip-flop. Currently, the parking is on the lower side and the travelway is on the upper side. So we'd be flip-flopping that. And then 6 new spaces would be built, the pink area, and they would be allowed to be posted for the tenants of 15 Campbell, as an exchange. You know, if those pink spaces don't exist, those 6 cars are going to find somewhere in that vicinity to park, and they're gonna park somewhere else in that lot. So it's my recommendation, I think I said in my cover report, more spaces the better, and if the project's gonna build them, and it takes pressure off the rest of that lot, I don't see where that's gonna hurt us at all, and it's certainly gonna benefit the project development. So that's the plan, that's the major change. As you can see, the water lines and sewer lines are shown. The new location of the dumpsters, the new location of the LP gas tank down in your lower right-hand corner would all have access, to the public area. And really the brass tacks would be making sure that the attorneys on both sides are satisfied with the survey plat for the easements and the deeds of easement, to make sure that we can get to those water and sewer and stormwater lines in the future if we had to repair. And I don't think that's gonna be a problem for Hub Development. They don't certainly wanna repair those, so, at least I don't think you wanna repair those. So there'll be a slight, reconfiguration of the concrete, end caps, at a couple of locations here, but, all in all, we're gonna end up with, I think it's, 19 spaces on property, almost 20 spaces on property, that would be, and in South Alley, that would be available on the property of Hub Development, and then, there would be 6 new spaces, in the end of the public right-of-way. So, in looking at this on the site and on paper, unless Mr. Watkins has a major problem with something legally, from a deed of easement perspective, I see this as a win-win-win for the developer of the project in the town. We're getting some additional spaces, we're making really good use of that, and we're getting a perpetual public right-of-way through that area, which we currently do not have. So, if you have any questions, the other one numbers the spaces, I think I gave you a copy of numbered the spaces, just to kind of show you what we were talking about there. But just trying to give you an idea of what, we'd be looking at. I personally don't have any issue with it. I don't think Jason's gonna have an issue with it, but I've gotta share it with him, and make sure that he's okay. We would actually wanna see the draft survey easements and the draft deeds of easement from these folks right here, to give Jason something to look at, but, I can't imagine there'd be anything crazy in there. They're currently being used for public thoroughfare or public parking in that whole area. It's the reason the whole thing was built to start with, so we're not changing the use at all, we're just reconfiguring how it's used, and to make it more efficient and provide some additional spaces. So, that's the proposal. And make it clean on paper, because right now it's a little bit, up in the air, depending on how you wanna look at it. So, we'd like to get it all ironed out for the future.
Thanks, Brian. Council, do you have any questions, concerns?
Yeah, just one question, because I don't think it's included in the drawing part. The parking places that currently exist on the other side, when I'm saying the other side, like the back to Gathering Grounds,
Yeah,
that will remain unchanged?
they're not touched at all.
Okay, right, because the drawing doesn't really give
Yeah.
you that perspective,
Yeah, we
but,
didn't go up
right,
that
so
far.
what's happening back there, and I'm making sense for everyone else too, that will remain as it is.
Right.
All this expansion is on,
So the
but if you think of the shrub line,
Yeah,
existing
exactly.
curb of that shrub line
Yeah.
is our
Right.
top of our parking spots.
yeah, towards 15 Campbell from the shrub line over,
And
yeah.
those, spaces along Virginia Avenue, they'll stay exactly, that along the side of the building, they'll stay exactly the same shape.
Yeah,
The new travel way would be the spaces that are currently on the Hub Development property. That's how we would drive. That's
yes,
where-
which is pretty much what everybody
Correct.
does anyway, or what's been the habit through the years as
Right.
far as going through that, so that's really not gonna change as much. And I just wanna make sure and clarify here at council that no impact to the existing ones on the other owners, yeah,
That's correct.
yeah.
What's the little lobe on the corner of the building?
That's current, concrete lobe, it will change.
It is there, okay.
Yeah, it's there
Okay,
now,
that's
it's
what Jason-
way out.
Jason thought so,
It's
but I-
weird, really weird.
Yeah,
Like
I
gonna
wasn't
come out.
picturing it,
Yeah.
yeah.
And since Brad and company are gonna be generous enough to get rid of that for us, that's
Yeah.
even better.
That's
So, it's been an unusual thing. One thing I will note, the travel way is gonna expand a little bit. It's gonna get a little bit wider.
Yeah.
With the exception of the lower right corner where it's gonna remain 20 feet, we are gonna see if we can maybe work cooperatively with the project and get a roll curb in there in case a truck or something comes around that, but the rest of it's gonna be back out to 24 feet all the way through, and then 25 feet on Virginia Avenue, so it'll be a little bit more travel way. So that'll be nice to do.
Brad, I just wanna say, I know we met there long ago now and looked at that, and I know how important that green space was to you, and of course, that still remains, but I know it's being shrunk, a bit to accommodate this, but I know from the town point of view as well, I appreciate all that you and Racy Engineering are doing to create that extra parking, even though it's taking a little bit of that space, it all helps in that area, because we need it, that's for sure. Thank you.
Thank you for
I got a question.
the genesis of this plan.
Brian, will all
Thank
these
you.
parking spaces be noted for the public or private? I would
The
think
one-
you'd have to, so,
Yeah, the ones on the sheet that has the parking space numbering, all 20 of, 19 or 20 of the red numbers will be posted. The 6 blue numbers, 6 or 7 blue numbers, how you want it, that one, the property line splits that one space in half almost, so
Yep.
it could go either way. But the 6 blue numbers up here, Ron, would also be posted for the tenants of the 28
so if
units.
people in the public park there, then the police could,
Yeah,
tell
well,
them
it'll
they-
actually be private property.
Right.
The problem we're gonna have is these are gonna be in a public right of way. So those 6 spaces, we'll have to work out some sort of agreement with Hub to make sure that, I don't wanna get in the habit of sending the police over there every time somebody's from their building, their space is being violated. So we'll work out those details
Okay.
out. But yeah, all of these numbered spaces here would be dedicated. And, when we went to 28 units, when they went from 21 originally to 28 units for housing, it did create some additional requirements for parking, but with our current parking ordinance, they're exceeding the number, plus, that we've approved them for a 3-space waiver, they don't need it now. This'll take care of everything they need.
and one of the challenges with this, as it happens, and when the signs go up as far as the reserved parking, the challenge we're gonna have is, most people in town, myself included, until this project came along, thought that all that parking on that side was
All
town-owned.
Yeah.
And it's not, it's part of the 15 Campbell that Hub has purchased. So they own the property, they own the parking spaces, and that's gonna be a challenge for the public to understand that, and, you know, we've got a right-of-way through it, which we appreciate, because that could have been gone as well with the purchase. So, but that'll be our task as well, to help educate the public that, hey, this is private property.
I see one, EV spot. Does that exist now on Virginia Avenue?
What are you talking about?
The electric vehicle charging. I see one.
Yeah, so that was a suggestion to the developer, was that the potential addition of a electric vehicle spot may, be more user-friendly and make the lot better. We don't have one there now, but if they add that later, that's
I would
certainly-
like to see that. There's very few in town.
Yeah, yep.
How about those spots right along there up against the building? Are they public? All
They're
these
gonna remain public.
Public.
They all remain public. Yep, because they're in the Virginia Avenue right away. And that was part of the original discussion with Brad, was those, I think it's 9 there, might be 9-1.
Well, that thing I guess Joey was talking about, is that gonna be knocked out and create another space or two, or I guess?
This one won't be
Is that what he's
knocked out.
talking about here, this
No,
little thing?
he's talking about this one right here.
Oh,
that
that
big-
one, okay,
that big
oh,
one
okay,
right there.
all right,
Yep.
okay.
Yeah, because there's a building built in that other one.
Well, we can't knock
Not
that
sure
out.
how that got.
Those are public.
That'll be our leverage, you know, with Brad moving forward. But, you know, you do have a building built there in town right away, so.
Hey, hey, so Brad, I'm curious, I know when you were out there, you were trying to figure out where a truck would back in or where you would do unloading or anything. What's your solution for that? What are you all thinking now?
Where, like for.
Like in the rear, you needed
for,
some loading
For
area?
restaurant, I think they'd still likely come in that kind of
Uh-huh.
same kind of, spot where the ADA, parking spaces, are, and there's some access there. Then I think the other truck that we're talking about was where the dumpster pad is at the back, and I know Tyler and his team kind of made sure that there's good access to
No.
that dumpster pad so that the truck can get back there as well.
Yeah, so the restaurant loading would primarily be right along that new flat curve
Yeah,
right there.
yeah.
And the ramp would go down, and then they would just unload and load right there.
Sure.
The other half of the travelway would still be available for traffic.
You know, what's happening now with the restaurants, like gathering grounds and stuff, the trucks are stopping in the alley in the back and just parking and hand trucking it in the rear of
It's
those
not better.
buildings, so that's sort of going on already and has been for years,
Yeah,
with,
yeah.
just in the other side.
Right, they're doing that on the other side of the island
Yeah.
right now, but apparently they pull over to the side, traffic's still, cars can still get around them on one side, and they're able to.
Well, the same thing used to happen with Domino's when they were there, the trucks, Coca-Cola and all the trucks stopped right there in Virginia Avenue.
Virginia.
Yeah.
Yeah, and offloaded there, so.
So that's the plan right now, that's the one we're gonna pursue through with the additional, applications for funding. And I think that, we have a zoning permit ready, for Mr. Herman. I wanted to get through tonight and see if we didn't have any major problems with the site plan. The elements that are here that, do conform to the ordinance, a couple of minor details we're gonna work out with the water and sewer connections, primarily the water connection, but that's nothing that's insurmountable. And so I think, tomorrow morning we'll issue that zoning permit so that he can advance his project.
Looks good, I'm glad
Very
to see it
good.
moving forward so quickly.
Yeah, it's exciting.
Very quick, yes.
There'd be 28 water meters.
That's a good way to ask him, I don't know.
Hey, will there be 28 water meters for tenants, or will there be one that's divided up?
So there's one water meter, from
So the town's not gonna sell 28 more?
No, it'd be subdivided, there's some technology that they have that subdivides it basically on the way in.
Okay,
each
good.
apartment, And then that way you can allocate water and sewer on a per apartment basis.
Is that what we have out at, was it Luray Landing? What is, how does that work?
Luray Meadows.
Luray
has
Meadows,
one-
excuse me.
Luray Meadows has 1 2-inch meter per building. They elected to go with a meter per building versus one big meter at the road. Financially, it made more sense for them to do it that way.
But it's the
And-
same thing, Jerry, once it goes in.
Yeah, it's all metered.
Yeah.
So the amount of water's the same, just the facility fees that be paid.
So they charge the tenants, or it's included in the rent or somehow?
They include rent, we
They
pay,
include-
we send them one bill, for each one of those 8 meters, they pay us, and then they charge the tenant.
Okay.
Yep.
Actually, I think from the grant perspective on Virginia Housing,
Yeah.
I think it's a lump sum through X number of years, and whether there's someone in and
based on X number of dollars times the number of units on the property, whether they're occupied or not occupied,
So they have that fixed number.
Okay.
from a budgetary standpoint.
All right, very good, thank you. Next, LDI work plan, Ms. Jackie Wood, would you like to join us at the podium?
Good evening. Thank you all for having me. As I had mentioned to you guys probably in our last meeting, we've been working on our 2026 work plan, and we've made a couple of changes, and we want to add an addition. So I'm here tonight to ask permission to use the visitor center next year. LDI would like to bring the farmers market back to the visitor center and make that part of a fundraising project for us as well. We would like to start it in May and have it go through October. It will probably run from 9 to 2, one Saturday a month. The vendors will be, we're gonna charge a vendor's fee of probably $20, because that's been kind of the going rate in the past. And, of course, I'm gonna be asking the past vendors, we also have our vendor list from Sunflower, so I don't think we're gonna have problems getting vendors. There just seems to be in our community a want and a need for this. And I think that we've tried them and they've gone to the wayside, but it's been for a variety of reasons. I don't think it's just been one reason. And I think that perhaps if we can take it, make it part of our ongoing fundraising efforts, that's an opportunity for us to make a few bucks. That's an opportunity to bring it back to the community, and having it at the visitor center, I think, is an amazing location, because it's also good for the chamber as well. And then what we'll do is we'll collect the money the day of the event, just like it has been done in the past, because we don't want to get into, well, if it rains and then you're doing refunds, and that becomes extremely complicated. So we would just want to do it basic and simple. Gina and I, if you give me permission to do it, she and I are going to kind of sit down and look at our calendars and decide on maybe what Saturday of the month would be the best, because I don't want to conflict with anything else, you know, and make sure that we have it, so we're, you know, that our guests and our citizens can have this back.
So your request to council is simply just to use the parking?
To use the facility, yes ma'am, the space outside, just like the Daughters of the Stars did. Yeah.
Did they have it this summer, or was it down?
No, sir. They,
What was down beside, Ms. Corbett for a while?
now, they had it last summer, and they had it in Susan's parking lot. But then this year, we didn't have it because the young lady that was in charge had gotten a job that took her away to where she could do it, and no one else wanted to facilitate it. And so that's why we discussed it and talked about, well, maybe if LDI could do it. I mean, we're right there. It's kind of a good mix for everybody.
So LDI will manage the,
Yes, sir.
so you don't have to hire anybody?
No, sir. It'll be me.
Yay.
I think it sounds good. I like
I
the
love it.
idea. I like the fact too that, whatever Saturday you come up with, the
Right.
third Saturday, the first Sunday,
Right.
Saturday, whatever it
Right.
is, that I like that it's consistent, and, nothing against the Daughter of the Stars, but that moved around, different towns, and I think it may have been a bit confusing even for the public, maybe to know, when and where they're at, but I
Right.
like this being a Luray thing, and
In
just
downtown.
sticking with that.
Yeah.
I think it'll do well.
And then the other item that I have for your consideration, so, excuse me, normally the Christmas tree lighting coincides with the Chamber's holiday festival. And so there's been some talk over the last couple of years, because the Chamber kind of feels like that when people that it pulls people away from the Chamber, from their vendors and stuff they have there, because they come down to watch the tree be lit. And so Tony Vila and I have been talking, and we would like to move the Christmas tree lighting to the first Saturday in December. We would like to move it to 5:30, because if I can move it to 5:30, then I can build a promotion around it for our downtown merchants and our restaurants. Folks can come at 5:30, see the tree be lit, then they can leave, they can go do a little shopping, they can have dinner, And makes it a family event downtown, and then you're not drawing anyone away from someone else's event, or it's not making people feel like they're being rushed around. So that's something that we would like to do in 2026. It'll be the same this year as it's always been, but in 2026. And we just like to kind of create our own event, separate from, from the Chamber's event.
I've got a question on it. Would the tree lighting actually be at 5:30?
Well, see, it's dark at 5 at that time of year.
Well, my only concern, as I hear that,
Yeah,
I'm thinking about people that, I know last year, there were a lot of people even from out of town,
right.
and I'm thinking for people that, well, take our locals that work out of town. If they get off work at 5 PM in Harrisonburg or Front Row or wherever they may work to get home or
And you're
I'm
thinking on
it's gonna be,
Saturday?
just me personally,
Yeah.
I think that might be early it might hurt your attendance as far as people having the time that are from
That's a
work,
good point.
that are working to,
Right, and we can adjust that time. I mean, that time it isn't certainly set in stone. We can adjust that time.
Yeah, well, you could certainly just swap it, right? You'd still build a downtown campaign around it where they
Right,
dine
right.
and eat prior to and then kick off.
Because what I'm gonna, if we decide to do this, what I wanna do is ask the merchants on that Saturday, to stay open later.
Right.
And so that people can see the tree be lit, and then they can, because they're in the Christmas spirit after that, because it is a great event that we have. And it puts you in the Christmas spirit, and then people can go maybe do some shopping, go take their family to dinner, that type of thing.
well, and it's a Saturday instead, I've got
Right.
like a Friday. in
No,
mind.
it's a Saturday.
But being a Saturday, that's not gonna be as much of
Right.
a concern as if it was a weekday.
See, that's why we were thinking doing it on a Saturday, that it would be better for people, because it's
Has it
the
been on a
weekend.
Friday in the past?
It's always been on Friday, always.
All right, that's where my mind
Yeah,
was.
no,
I was
you're
still
right,
stuck on the
Jason.
Friday,
No,
but
it's
okay.
always been on Friday.
Okay, yeah, if it's Saturday, maybe not, yeah.
So the Chamber Festival will be an entirely different night.
That'll be on Friday night. They'll have their event, they have theirs from 4 to 8 on that Friday. Theirs is from 4 to 8. And so then that way, Gina will have her event, her vendors will, they'll be happy because nobody's leaving there to go see the tree be lit. Because then when they leave and see the tree, they don't come back. And I think that was some of the complaints that she was getting. So this way, no one's interfering.
I've always thought the two events complemented
Yeah.
each
I
other.
always have to.
I
do
really
too.
felt like
Yeah.
the big turnout for both the chamber
I
and
agree.
us with the tree lighting
I
was that
agree.
it got a lot of people out that night for the two things happening.
That is the way, and I agree with you, because I felt that way too, but apparently, I think they've heard different feedback.
Well, I have some concerns because the crowd always comes like in mass. They all come down and watch the tree, and I just wonder if we're gonna have the same crowd. I guess it wouldn't hurt to try it one year.
But I mean, we can try it, and
Yeah.
if it's not good, then we'll go back to what we were doing, but
What time do we light the tree?
7:30,
7:30. And they were from 4 to 8?
4 to 8.
The other thing that happens,
You what?
You mean keep it the same night and just light it early so you can get both in?
I think it is too.
Yeah.
And I'm also thinking about your situation, that you've got extra staff out that night for it, and with both of them, you've got the extra staff on one night. If they're staggered, then you've gotta have staff both nights, but
So the chamber is, as you said, it's 4 to 8, 4:30 to 8,
It's 4 to 8.
4 to 8.
So how would you feel about moving the Christmas tree lighting to, say,
8.
you wanna move it
It's
to
a half
like
an
8
hour.
o'clock?
I think that would make more sense than changing the entire evening,
Okay,
because I'm with Jason. I think it complements,
Yeah, they make
the
everybody
two
happy.
events complement one another.
Couldn't the chamber move their event forward an hour and then just shift it all forward some?
I think it's because,
I mean, well,
Or
it's
Friday,
but move it to
yeah.
Saturday.
Yeah, or if it's a Saturday evening. Yeah, cause it's not just the
That would be
chief,
nice.
I would want, Jen to be able to weigh on this too, so I think maybe if Jackie gets with Jen and Bo, and then they come up with
I
a
can do that, sure,
plan, and then
be glad to.
talk about it.
Which again, this will be for next.
This is
not this up-
2026.
Right.
No, this
so
is
we have some
2026.
time.
Like I said, I'm just setting, trying to get my work plan together before Main Street comes to visit with me, because I'll be
Hey, is,
submitting everything to them.
Is the parade's a different night, is that been
Yes, sir,
scheduled?
parade's on Thursday
Thursday.
night.
Okay,
It's the following Thursday.
so we'll have something Thursday, then Friday, then Saturday, or?
No,
a
you'll
different
have,
week.
Next
it's
week.
the like you'll have the first Friday in December, and then the second Thursday in December is the parade.
Yep,
I think I'm saying that right.
that's right.
So this year's tree lighting is on the 5th?
And it'll be, it's just the regular time,
Just like
7:30.
it's been in the past.
It'll be, it'll all be the same, yep.
So what did we decide? We're gonna decide to move the tree lighting to 8? Is that what we've done, or you gonna talk
No,
about that? or-
yeah, I
No.
think you're gonna talk to some of the partners and
I'm
then
gonna
come
have to
back.
talk to some of the partners, and then we'll go from there, and then when I
This
come
year
back.
won't change at all.
And this year it doesn't change at all, no, but like I said, I'm trying to be proactive, Jerry.
You're doing a great job, thank you.
Thank you,
Yeah, all right, anything else?
that's all.
No problem.
All right,
Thanks,
very good,
guys.
thank you.
I appreciate it.
I don't blame you.
Okay, the last update and discussion item is Comcast Cable Franchise Agreement. Mr. Chrisman, you have a draft?
Yes, so in your packet, was a short cover statement, talked about a couple of things that we had reviewed with Comcast, and then the franchise agreement itself. This has been in front of Mr. Bockins twice, and Comcast once, in between those two reviews. So he had, continued to, show his, proposed changes in red, and they were included in the agreement. The last thing that I included was their current lineup for channel. I'm not sure about why the rescue squad is stricken. I'm gonna ask Comcast that because they have service on that pole right now. So all other emergency services, everything have the basic package because primarily for the weather, in the event that we have other issues that go down. But, I'm gonna try to be a little stickler on that one and just say, hey, everybody else is getting it. You're already on the pole right beside the building. Just
Beyond inconsequential at that point.
yeah, it's enormously inconsequential. So, anyway, I'm gonna push on that one. Jason was fine with the, second round of changes. I haven't heard anything back from, Comcast. We do this every 10 years, so this is an event that you guys will see, in the future. Mr. Bockins was fine with the remainder of the language, and he had added a few things, for requirements with state code, and there's one federal requirement through the, FCC. So he added that language in there to make sure that we were covered with that. My biggest two issues are listed in the report. One was, making sure that they were insured for any work that they or their subcontractors do in our right of way, which they are, as well as, and the big one is, if we're doing a town project in the town right of way and we find out that their utilities are in our way, they have to relocate those utilities at their cost, not our cost. So that was a big one, and, I made sure that was in there. So, I've been there before, and that gets hugely expensive when you have to pay for somebody's utility relocation. So, if it's in our way on our project, then they have to move it. And, of course.
Could that include fiber? Could that include fiber?
Any utility.
Right,
in the
I mean,
right
but
of way
theoretically
that they
could,
put in there.
or
Yep,
do we know where
fiber
that is
optic.
enough to where?
Yep, or cable. So if it's buried underground and there's gonna be a new roadway or a new sidewalk go through there, and they gotta relocate that thing, they do it at their expense. And as long as we give them adequate notice on the construction schedule, they have to meet our project schedule as well. Now, if we wait till the last minute and say, oh, by the way, we need this moved tomorrow, they're gonna be like, no. But if we give them adequate notice, they're required to meet our construction schedule, so.
Hey, Brian, on a list of the government facilities, it's got Luray High School at the old address, 14 Luray Avenue. So that's meant to be the middle school, I guess. Are we not providing cable service for the high school?
No, it's in the county.
It's a county.
Yeah.
But I should say Luray Middle School for that address, I guess.
Okay, I will make that change, Ron. Good catch.
When does this need to be done, Brian?
We typically try to get this done in the first 3 months, of the new fiscal year for the 10-year renewal. So, normally we try to get it done. We got it, late July, early August, so this would be an action item probably at your October meeting, I would say, would be when you guys would see it as an action item.
Okay.
I don't think we'll have it ready for your September. And you said middle school, Ron?
Third one down.
I got you. Got it. Thank you.
Tell me again, why was the rescue squad marked out?
For some reason, they marked it out, and I don't know why, because they already have service there. We've already verified that when we did the Memorial Drive project. So it's not like we've seen it multiple times, probably more times than we wanted to see it. But, So I'm gonna push to include the squad back on
Okay.
there, cause they need to provide that. That's not a big ask on our part. So, yeah, I'll make sure I make the change for the name. I did differentiate between some of the other departments, the addresses appear to be correct. And again, that's just the basic cable service to government and institutional facilities.
Okay.
So just an informational item for y'all tonight. If you have any major issues or anything comes up later, please let us know. You know, we'll incorporate them, and then, like I said, you'll probably see this at your October meeting.
Sounds good, thank you. All right, we have no further items on the agenda. Council, y'all have anything? I don't have anything. All right, we're adjourned. Thank you.
Thank you all.
Boom.
So is there